think we had a little bit of gremlins going on there again. Good evening and welcome. It's been a while. What's everyone been up to? Where did September go? That's a very interesting one, isn't it? Where did September go? I always seem so fly this time of year. I always find as well as we're moving on into the darker nights and the thinner veil as we head towards the end of October as well. So that's always interesting. Little catch up. Well done tonight to the lovely Jolene. Enjoyed listening to her readings there tonight on the platform. And again, let's see where we're up to. Hope everyone's all right. Any questions? Fire away. Little bit of a catch up. Went down to Falstaff with the keep team there on Friday night, and again, thanks to everyone that came along. What an evening that was. It was such a refreshing to get out in different parts of the country as well, and different things. And obviously Friday night comes along and you rush and you go to your Google Maps and you type in where you're heading off for. And I think I put Falstaff. Oh, we're freezing again. We put Falstaff into the sat nav and that, and as we're driving on down there, we get a little bit closer to Falstaff, and we're heading towards Stratford upon Avon. Lovely part of the city. What a place that is to go in the summer. If anyone's not been to Stratford upon Avon, get yourselves down there in the summer. Have a lovely weekend there. So as we're approaching Stratford upon Avon, I've been there about 4 or 5 times, and I said to our Linda, I said, doesn't feel quite right, this is meaning heading in the wrong direction. And sure enough, we pull onto this new housing estate and we ended up in Falstaff Drive, which I thought, okay, I think there's some energies playing along here and keeping us away from the investigation. So it only put us out about 5 or 6 miles, which wasn't too bad, but that could have been a lot worse as well. So we get little things like that when we go on our investigations. We do get little gremlins and certain energies and entities that try and keep us away from certain locations, but it certainly lived up to its expectations when we got there and we started up and running on the invest on the night. And again, amazing evening with the public as well, and we had some amazing interaction. So how is everybody? And welcome for joining. Just a quick catch up. Hello, Rachel. I am off out tomorrow night on my travels, so please catch up with that. I will try and go live as well. And Saturday night, I think we're up over with the lovely Rachel. Where are we Saturday night, Rachel? Are we quite close to Leeds Abbey? I think we're over the road, aren't we? Somewhere not that far, neck of the woods. We're in Leeds. Hello, Elaine. Hope you're well, young lady. I was going to do a live Monday night, but obviously the gremlins were out again in Facebook HQ. So I do believe there's a little bit more to that to follow than meets the eye. And a few people have been inboxing me saying that they've been worried about current situations as well, of stocking up on water and buying candles and buying the electric wind-up torches as well. So if that unfolds, then the next 2 or 3 months could be, what was it called back in the day? Winter of content. Let's see how it unfolds this year as well. So we'll see how we get on there moving forwards with whatever things are going on out there in the madness of the world today. But again, we've come leaps and bounds and we're moving forwards out of the last 18 months. And it's so nice to see people having a smile on the face and enjoying doing what they're doing. Good evening, Gemma, Elaine, lovely to hear off you. Alison, Gemma, again. Right, you went to Falstaff, Ange, and captured so many orbs and weird things on your photos. Just wanted to get out there. Felt really strong feeling not being welcome by a presence there. Yeah, most definitely. There is a very, very certain energy entity, which I've come across many times before. I think it's 5 or 6 times there. But this energy and entity does pop up elsewhere as well on its travels. And it does show itself as and portrays itself as other, shape-shifting forms as well. So I Pete, again, I'd just like to thank that young man for helping and supporting with sorting out some technology for me as well. I'm not very gifted with technology. and I do struggle all the way along. The reason I haven't been on the lives the last few weeks and months is I've got a brand new laptop, hence be known, I couldn't get the camera to work, and it was showing that the laptop camera and the setup there was all working, but there's actually a button on the laptop that says switch the camera off, and it was as simple as that. So again, thanks to the techie guy, I had help support me there around me as well. It only took us 4 weeks to work out what had gone on. Again, new laptop, not used it that much, but we learn by our mistakes, don't we? So again, a little bit of a schoolboy error. Good evening, Sharon. How are you? Again, yeah, thanks to Pete. I'll be looking at bringing some new equipment to the table tomorrow night. I'm out on a little private invest, but I'm sure we can bring some energies and entities our way and pick up on what's going on there as well. Bonjour from France. How are you, Melanie? Melanie, Elizabeth. Whereabouts are you in France? I went on a trip to Pont de Gard. So I drove all the way down past Lyon. So I went to Paris, went to Lyon, drove down to Pont de Gard. If no one knows what Pont de Gard is, it's actually a Roman city, and it was one of the first places to have the Roman viaduct around the city. And I actually got the keys with the support of the local council there, and they actually let me walk through the aqueduct on Pont de Gard. So if anyone Googles Pont de Gard, they're certainly out in force tonight, aren't they? The gremlins are certainly out in force tonight. As I was saying, if you're okay, can you hear me? That's fine. Pont de Gard, have a little Google of that, and there's some history, and what an amazing city that was to walk around. I think it's quite close to Saint Etienne as well, which again, being a big Liverpool fan, there's quite a big links there, but lovely to go around that Roman city as well. That was about 6 years ago. So whereabouts are you based in France? Hello, Sophie. Robbie, hope you're well, young man. Hello, Kev. And Kev, thanks for all your help and input on what you've been helping and supporting me with. Again, people around and friends, you know what? You can never have enough friends, what we do. Anyway, what's been going on in the paranormal world where you are? Where are you going out to this weekend? What have you got planned? Again, as a lovely Jolene said, on the 20th or 22nd of October, we've got an evening there up in Wrexham as well, and we'll try and put the link on there for you. I think that's £40 a ticket, and that is a psychic supper as well. So we're looking forward to that. Toulouse, okay. That again's by the Airbus are based there, aren't they, Toulouse? I've had friends that work over in Toulouse there with Airbus. How's things, Nikki? Looking forward to catching up with you. Oh, hello, Kate. How are you doing? Incognito. Them pair are terrible, terrible pair. Nikki, I hope you're in a better shape for your investigation tomorrow night than being hungover a few months back when we went to this location and it was the next night. But I'll let you off. So don't want you tired. I want all guns blazing tomorrow night, Nikki. Aura Gyms, that's where we're going. Good evening. How are you? And again, we're looking forward to it. It's on quite sacred grounds, if I remember, and quite historical place. And last time I went to this location for tomorrow night, it's quite big links with a workhouse. Again, I can't remember the dates now, but dating well back into the 1800s, 1870s, I think it was, something like that, 1880s. And again, I keep seeing this vision of this hall, this stately hall and stately home in and around the land that we're investigating tomorrow night. And it's bizarre sometimes as a medium. And again, when I watch other mediums work, is I can understand how they're linking and connecting it as well. And if you think sometimes as somebody on a switchboard dating back it's like so many trying to communicate with you all at once. You do get bombarded when you open up spiritually. And again, you can get a lot that's filtering on top of each other as well as, I don't mean mixed messages. What I mean is you could hear 5 or 6 spirits trying to talk to you all at once, and you've got to filter it and ask your team and guide to communicate with them as you're talking and thinking and working out what they're saying as well. So sometimes as a medium, you've got to slow the process down of working with the stronger energy sometimes, and then asking the stronger energy to stand back and let a quieter energy or entity like a grandma figure come through, or a very shy person come through as well. So sometimes when you're hearing someone communicating with you, you've got to communicate back, work spiritually, and just say, well, I'm trying to pick up on 5 or 6 in the room. So sometimes you've got to scour the room as well with the energies and entities that's going on, and the lie of the land as well. And you've got to really work, and it does take a lot to work out what's going on as well. And again, we never stop learning. I've learned so much, especially over the period that we've gone through. And I've seen so many people, excuse me, I've seen so many people picking up on more spiritually as well, because they've been in their own environment. Have you had any really strong sensations out there, folks? If anyone wants to come on and join me and have a little chat, you're more than welcome. It's open mic hour, so it is your hour. I've done this not as much as like the old James Whale type of thing, but it's like, bring on board, come in, have your say, let me know what's going on in and around you as well. Georgia, how are you? Did you have any plans to come to Southwest area in the near future? South Wales, I've done Morgan quite a few times. I think, trying to think where else I've been down there as well. Skerridin. Do you know what? I might actually pop down and see Jeff in the Skerridin midweek, and I might do a live midweek from there, but I've got no plans on the dates. I have been so extremely busy since August. It has been non-stop since August, folks. Obviously, can't go into personal details, but I've been absolutely solid since August and September. So just really catching up with myself now. You were all hanging out your backsides, was you, Gemma? Again, speak for yourself. Katie says there below as well. So there is stuff going on there again back in this gym for tomorrow night, but I've said to Katie, don't tell me anything. We'll see what we get. We run with what we run with, and we'll see what we pick up on, and that's what it's all about. And again, I'm just trying to think. Oh, excuse me. Let me see where we're going. Right. I think we've got the mediumship evening in the courthouse in Dudley on Saturday, the 6th of November, 7:00, with the lovely Sky TV psychic medium Sarah May. £10 the tickets. Get on that, folks, if you're in and around. And again, if you're not close to that area, book yourselves down there and have a weekend, and see these other places. I'm seeing so many amazing places, even locally on my own doorstep. Went for a little walk today, and I just come across so much stuff, and from Victorian times back to the 1600s with pirates and stuff like that down by the waterfront. And there's just so many amazing things out there. So give yourselves a bit of time and give yourselves a bit of a window to have an hour walk or an hour breather and just get out and about and just have a little look around what's on your own doorstep as well. Let's see where we're going. Are you coming to Joe's event in Ponty next week? I don't know about that one. I'll have to have a little look. Again, I've got loads of things on next weekend as well, which I can't go into at the moment. I am looking forward to get my new equipment up and running tomorrow night with a little experiment as well. We'll get some more experiments going with that as well. So hopefully, let us know more about that, Jolene. Let us put the dates down and all that as well, and give us some more information on that. And again, I missed something out my diary the other day, which I don't usually do, but it has been really, really busy. Where was I? I'm just trying to think. Oh, I was out with another medium the other day, and they were talking about stuff. And they kept seeing a vision. And as soon as this lady, she lives miles away from this place, and she was telling me about the vision she kept seeing. And straight away I said, it's Penny Lan, which is an old hall, stately hall in by Wrexham, isn't it? It's not too far off from there. If anyone's not been down there, this Penny Lan seems to be calling at the moment as well. So I've said to the other medium, go and get yourself booked on there and try and get yourself an investigation down at that Penny Lan as well. Excellent, Jolene. Again, if you've got any links, put it on there as well. I think Saturday the 13th, I'm down at Thackeray Medical Museum on the Saturday night. That's 13th of November. Jumping well ahead of myself there as well. So where are you going? What events have you got? Any questions that you'd like to ask? Fire away. Hello, stranger. Hello, Julie. And again, Julie, she's got a little private invest going through, let me think, is it Friday night? So again, we get to some amazing places, and it's great to meet up with people. And do you know what? I miss so many people when I haven't caught up with them for ages. It really, it's nice to pick back up on their energies and get out there and up and running. Abby in Derby goal. Oh yeah, so we're in the Abbey Inn tomorrow, are we, Gemma? We're in the Abbey Inn. Saturday night, yours, Jewel. Yeah, Abbey Inn, I'm in Saturday night. So again, good luck with your night as well, Julie, on Saturday night. Evening, Carl, how's things? I've had some really strange things going on again with balancing and cleansing and settling a lot of things down as well in September, which I always go through that phase. So I always try and help balance and cleanse and support other people. That we do things from a distance that people don't see, and the background of working with spirits and working with people's guides. And we'll ask our guys to have a little chat with another person's guide if they're struggling in life or they need support or a little bit of an upliftment in some points. It's like, it doesn't happen overnight, but I can ask my guide to go and have a word with another person that's living on this plane. If they're going through a bad time, I will ask my guide to go and have a word with their guide, unbeknown to that person as well. And I'll always have a little like, come on, this person needs a break, this person needs a window, and this person needs an uplift. It's up to you to turn them in the right direction as well. And again, it's just amazing. I just love working with my team and other people's teams as well, which people don't see. And it is like having your invisible friend and asking your invisible friend to go and have a word with somebody else's team, guide, support as well. So good evening. Right. Hello, Indigo. Has just finished work, shared with love. Thank you very much as well. And again, I enjoyed catching up on when we went down to, I think we went down to Gloucester a few weeks back. And we've done a little bit of a talk there as well. And we met some amazing people and what they do in the fairs and all that as well. So it was nice catching up on the fair down there in Gloucester and catching up and meeting like-minded people as well. And the connection that we've got in and around the UK, it seems to be getting closer and closer, and people are getting out there and meeting up more, which is amazing. Rachel, how are you? Rachel, I had a little look at the Liver building today from over the water, and I can't remember whether you're still there or you've left, but it just seemed to be calling me as well. But obviously that was linking in with you, and I was just trying to work out. I was like, is she still there? Has she left? I couldn't remember. But the Liver building just seemed to be calling and calling. If anyone's not been in that Liver building over in Liverpool, it's actually hollow in the middle, which is quite surprising because a lot of people don't know that. So it's just like 4 corridors all the way around on floors. Again, but there's some history there, the history and the spirit's energies that are picked up on today. And the last few days, I've had like a very strict butler with me, but I was in like a coach house last night, and it was an old road in, where was I last night? Rainhill, I think it was. So I was in Rainhill, which is an old like coach road again. So seeing things back in the time and the day, it's just amazing. It just blows your mind out. So much information comes to our forefront in our mind's eye, and sometimes as well as we work or I work, I see like cine films and flashes, and then that image is gone in a millisecond. So again, you see bullet points, your team give you bullet points to ask questions about certain things, again related to yes or no. If you get a no, you ask the question, why have you said no? And then they add on more to them bullet points as well, because a lot of people don't understand certain things with spirits as well. A lot of spirits won't give you sentences or paragraphs. They just mention bullet points, mention that to Joe Blogs, or say about the £500 they left in a will. It's like, mention the £500. So a little thing can be broken down, and that's where people are recipients on the other end. They can relate to who you're talking to and talking about there as well on in and around spirit on the other side as well. Oh, right. Where are we? You only ever been to Liverpool once. It is mind-blowing, dating back. Again, I think the city's 700 years old, 800 years old, and it started with monks traveling from one side of the river to the other. Obviously, I think it was making wine and stuff like that, and they would have gone over the river on like an oracle. Again, so all the way down the estuary of the River Mersey, down into Ince, where I've investigated a few years back, and the local people of the town came out, thought I was a burglar because I was dressed in black that night and I was on my own. So again, people don't go out investigating on your own. So even though I had all my name on all my stuff as well, it just looked a bit random when I was walking around an old property from the street and looking at this property as well. So again, be careful when you go out there as well, but got to get out and about. Albert Dock. Now, Albert Dock is... I nearly bought a penthouse in Liverpool back in 2000, around about 1998, 2000. And that was actually up where the Echo Arena is now. So I was quite close to buying a penthouse over there at the time. But for one reason or another, that didn't come about. So a good friend of mine does live in a penthouse over in Liverpool. And I'd be looking to going to catch up with him soon. He's just doing a Belgium pub, and I will look for his link where he's opening up. It's not too far off Bold Street, which I've always got a big draw to as well, with timelines and ley lines as well. Come to Yorkshire. I'm in Yorkshire tomorrow night, young man. Young man, would you like to meet me tomorrow night? Or would you like to meet me Saturday night, if there's any space? I don't know if there's any space Saturday night. Justin, would you like to catch up with me tomorrow night? If you're not busy, I will inbox you later on. I'd like you to come and catch up with me. Definitely. And what's the hotel that you go in, Justin, there? Is it the one by Whitby, is it? I can't remember. There's a massive hotel in Whitby, and again, I'm drawn to Whitby Abbey as well. I always get drawn to that place. Actually, shopping is okay. You love the Albert Docks as well. There's one place on the Albert Dock. It's quite tucked in on the corner, and there's actually a few museums down on the docks which are free. Again, if people not been to Liverpool, go and have a look in these museums as well, because these museums have got some amazing artifacts in that do carry a lot of residual energies, and amazing. There's certain things around the Titanic, certain things around when I walk in the Titanic building alone, right by St. James's station. Just mind-blowing, just absolutely mind-blowing. I just feel so gifted and blessed that this has developed so much for me to understand what's going on and come to the forefront as a medium to receive. It's just a pleasure. It really is just a pleasure as well. So let me say, is the lady still here that went to Falstaff last week? I have got a few pictures, I think, of an executioner. Was it Ange? I'm sure it was Ange. That was one of the drawings from last week with the executioner. Oh, that was at Falstaff. Sorry. Okay. Again, date of 1894. They were all Linda's notes as well, so I wasn't with Linda when she actually wrote that, but we was actually picking up on a lot of stuff there which did tie in with that as well. So right, just having a little look on them notes as well, just see if there's anything else. Has anybody seen anything that's been intriguing on the paranormal circuit? I mean, what did I get? Slaughter yard. So when Linda's picking up on executioner, we were picking up on slaughter as well. A lot of slaughter. A lot of whispering. 1792 we was picking up on last week. And papers and documents seem to be coming up quite a bit as well. The first thing I got when I walked in there on the equipment was, "Are you a friend?" I was like, "Oh, here we go." So when you walk into a building and you do turn your equipment on, and they want to know if you're friend or foe sometimes as well, even though I've been there a few times. They can be quite cheeky as well with some of the questions that they ask straight back to you straight away. Again, you could hear a crying child as well. And I could see, I know it's quite bizarre, but could see like a foggy time where somebody was pickpocketing and pinching a beggar in and around the street, and they come in off the street in and around us, and they were looking for spiritual things to take off us as well. So it was like as if they'd distract your attention to, back in the day, would have pickpocketed somebody that was in and around you as well. So there was quite a few distractions as well last week. Scratching as well. What else was there? Hanging of children as well. There was hanging of children. The Adelphi is supposed to be haunted. The Adelphi is, I've heard so many stories about the Adelphi. I was asked to do readings there one time, but I think it was, top of my head, it was a Christmas Eve or a day before Christmas Eve. And it was just a bit too short notice. So I have been due, to go in the Adelphi, but the Adelphi, there's a lot going on there as well, and especially around that area, because it would have been the hub, the heart of the thriving city in the port. If nobody's been to, if no one's been to, what's the name of the place? Williamson's Tunnels. There's actually tunnels. I think it's in Knightsbridge. No, it's not Knightsbridge. Kensington, I think it is, area of Liverpool. And the tunnels will go right the way down to the dock fronts. All right. And I did give, when I went there last time, that something quite simplistic will be found as well. But you can see it quite in the days, but you can see all these little spiral tunnels just drifting back down to the dock. So they would have had a lot of stuff off as well, and buried, shipments and hoarded stuff as well. Yeah, the Adelphi. Right, okay. Any questions while you're there? It's that right. I'm just rereading these notes as well. It's a Garry, tell me I don't like him. So again, stuff was coming through certain pieces of equipment. I felt as well when the team walked in the room that, which I think we were in a little pocket of 4 or 5 in one group, and there was 6 or 7 in the other group. And I gave to the group I was with at the moment that somebody had a drinking session and had the hood put over the head. And then obviously they were beaten, or I always say hoodwinked. And then when the other half of the team come in and we all went in the room. They were all in the room together. That's what was coming through and what they were picking up from as well. So it's always great to get that type of evidence and tie it in with the situation as well. So how are we doing for time? So has anybody on here been to Falstaff? I won't give you too much more information. But again, it's a place worth visiting as well. And what else have we got coming up? Oh, we've got the Village Mansfield. I think that'll be the last investigation, 27th of November, unless we have something out the blue that we catch up on and get out and about there and go somewhere else. I will be doing some pop-up investigations. Oh, can't beat that. Georgia, if you plan to go somewhere, how soon before you get there do you get information from spirits? To be honest with you, that's a great question, because sometimes you can get called about 6 months prior. Come here, I'm from here. But not, you don't get that information straight away. It'd be like, I'm picking up on a little child, or I'm picking up on a certain spirit or energy. And then you've got to put the pieces together over the day or two. And then you could be just having a coffee and with your feet up, and then all of a sudden more information comes in and say, I'm linked with this place, I'm linked with that place. I've had it so many times from the Tower of London. That was one of the most amazing linkage lines that I was getting called to go there and visit. And when we put all the pieces together, it made sense. But that took me about 5 or 6 months to plan to get down on the train and get down to London. Again, but I will do that when spirits are calling. I will certainly put myself out there to tie in and say, right, I'll put that in the diary, be it 4 months, 5 months later. So when we're given certain things, so I come home one Thursday night and I just kept picking up on a spirit. And I was like, I can't quite fathom out what was going on. And the spirit was just like trying to talk and churning away at me. And I couldn't quite understand what he was saying. Then the Friday night, I said to him, come back to me prior to what went on, because obviously I worked out he'd been in an accident. And he was actually a fighter pilot on a training exercise that came down with an RAF plane from Tilstock, RAF Tilstock, which is on the A41, going down towards Wolverhampton. So I couldn't get down there on the Friday night. So I got a couple of team together and we went down on the Saturday night. And I transfigurated this gentleman through, and people said they could see all the scars of the burning on his face and all that. And he had obviously disfigurement here from the aircraft. But sometimes that was more of a re-looping of the time of the accidents. I think it was the middle of June, middle of July. So for about that 2 week period, the spirit would re-loop of the energy that was going on through that time, be it 1948, 1978. When the accident happened, around the period that it happened, sometimes that energy will be stronger around, it remembers what's going on, and it will be stronger to it happening around certain anniversary dates as well. So we can have that as well. And you're like, okay, I understand what's going on, but they just want peace of mind. And sometimes spirits just want to be acknowledged. Okay, so if you think of somebody that's not being communicated with or talked to or been received, when they're putting all the effort and energy into try and get some type of respondent from their life and what they were about, sometimes they can make themselves known stronger to put their point over as well. So they can really, really build. And it takes a lot for a spirit sometimes to build. And I don't mean like a full manifestation. What I mean is it takes a lot to come through the veil. If the veil's thick, again, January, February time, you're not supposed to do virtual, you're supposed to give paranormal a bit of a rest in the thicker months. That's the thicker months of the veil. So when it's really damp, cold, miserable, the least daylight is the hardest time usually to communicate with spirits. Yes, they're there, but what I'm saying is obviously the veil's lighter in October when we come around Halloween. So the different times of the year that it does get quite heavy or lighter to work with mediumship. And again, that's about sometimes taking a back step, but spirits will slow you down if they don't want you to work as well. So great question that as well. So it can be anywhere between 6 months. I had a good friend an amazing international medium who lives in the Northwest. And he kept seeing a fireman, and the fireman kept saying, I need you to come, I need you to come. And that was obviously to New York. And he said, I will get there, I will get there. And the amazing friend of mine went over to New York, and he read for virtually as many people that come before him for free. And he read, and he read, and he read for all them amazing people over in from 9/11. He read for a lot of their friends, family, and loved ones as well. And that's the type of thing people don't see, that when there's certain time and place, they will go the extra mile to help people's loved ones receive messages as well. So, you know, it takes some working out to work out that, you know, different uniform, that fireman's not an English fireman, that, you know, where they're based from, what it's about, you know, and that might have took 2 or 3 years for that medium to have time in the slot in and around to go, right, I'm going to New York, I'm going to America, and then do what they need to do as well. So it depends on the strength of the energy. I always say to spirits that if your friends, family, and loved ones are on the fence with all the spiritual side of it, when they go over the realm and they go on the other side and they look back down on this plane, they see a lot of things they didn't understand when they were on this plane spiritually. So they usually have a bit more of a different perspective, to be more open-minded when they're on the other side, because they see how it's working and how it's linking in with the spirit trying to communicate with the medium. They will see it from the realm on the other side in a different perspective. So I would say to people, if you've got somebody that's a bit bar humbug and they're not into it, then on this plane, but when they cross over, they can see what's going on, they can work out and understand how it's working as well. Excuse me. But it takes a lot of energy to communicate with the medium, where we throw our energies up and spirits throw their energies down, and then we mix and blend. So it can take a lot for that energy to actually find and link in with our energy as we push our energy up. And that's how it works and blends. Sometimes what I always try and do is not just go up, I try and go all the way around with my energy. So when I walk into a room, I'll try and throw my energy all over the room, or all over the building, or all over the land. Hence why I'll do a little walk around. So I pick up on the pockets of energy that's could be sat on a bench at the bottom of a stately home. Doesn't actually mean that they're inside the house, but when they want to link and connect, they can still be outside to link and connect with me inside the property. So a lot of mediumship does work in different ways. Every medium works in different ways. Every medium's got a different zone of what their strength is. These are all tools in the locker, be it cards, be it open direct, working with spirits direct, your platform work, your spiritualist church. If I walk in a spiritualist church, it just feels like someone's plugged me into the mains. I'm like, oh, the energy lift is it's just so much love and white light around it. It's just amazing. Hi Sam, good evening Sue. Trafalgar, is that dangerous? What's the red light thing to do? What I do with the red light transfiguration? Sorry, what I do with that, Georgia, is if you think of when you're working with spirits, and the easiest way to describe it, if I've got a very powerful torch and I shine it in the rabbit's headlights or the car, the rabbit gets stunned. So if you've got a white light and you're virtually shining it all around the room looking for spirits, then they will be like quite dazzled. The light's too bright. So when you use a red light, it's just toning it down a little bit. So there's a little bit of a balance with the energy of the light sphere again, where there's all different levels of infrared and your night vision cameras and stuff like that. The best way to catch spirit and work with spirit, if you see spirit in natural daylight, and we've caught this on taking walk arounds in the daytime and people screenshotting the live feeds and capturing spirit, and you can see the energy there. That's the best way to capture spirit, is in natural daylight. So you've got to have the balance sometimes. It's like when you go into a building and it's a summer's day and it could be not dark till 9 or 10 o'clock, but as soon as the light's changing and the dust dusk is going down, and that transformation of the light, it starts balancing out a little bit. So there's like a little, it's more like filters where spirits feel more comfortable. So with the transfiguration and the red light, it's just spirits seem to step forward a little bit more and show themselves stronger than if it was in a white light. So the white light's a little bit too dazzling. Sometimes I can go into a room, and if there's a very negative energy there, my white light's too bright for it, how I shine. So my white light is like a lighthouse. So when I'm working, it's like I'm throwing off a white light. I can try and tone my light a little bit and balance it out as well. Because sometimes you'll hear me on a live feed, I'll say to spirits, is my white light too bright for you? Because it's just like, they'll stand back straight away. So if you go in a room and there's a negative there, and you walk in there with loads of love and white light around you and protection around you, and you're shielded and guarded, it's like, whoa, it's like it repels you the way. So sometimes you've got to tone your strength down as a medium as well. And sometimes you've got to take a back step and not just go in straight away, too quick, too soon. So I'll always introduce myself as a medium, and I'm only here to communicate. I'm not here for anything else. And that's what it's about. It's about having the balance. And I always say it's having the respect, where you're working with spirit, but you've got to have the balance and the respect for spirit to understand how you work. And you've got to introduce yourself. You can't just like go into a meeting and go, bang, this is what it's about. It's all about me. It's not about that. It's about everybody around the table. So it's the same in life today as what it is over there on the other side. It's being polite, being pleasant, and being understanding of putting your best foot forward for them to understand how you work, because every medium doesn't work in the same way. What's happened to my voice? I would say 2 or 3 weeks ago, definitely flattened and floored by the superbug that was going round. So it's just on the back end of that. So I did have chest infection, and it's just the back end of that as well. So it just gets a little bit tickly now and again. I do the transfiguration. I do let spirits jump into me. That wasn't happening then. It's just the back end of what I had. I think it was, what are we on now? About 2 weeks last Monday or Tuesday. So it's just the back end of that basically as well. So you do love to visit a spiritualist church. Please, please, please. I always say to people when they come to me for development and stuff like that, go to your spiritualist churches, go around other mediums, go around. If you go around the medium, you say, oh, I don't like that medium. I didn't connect with him. You might meet somebody in the group that going, you both bounce off each other, and then there's your friends for life, and you both work spiritually the same. You know, it's like you've got to go to these different groups and try different things, these spiritualist churches and all that as well. Lots of healing for me. Oh yeah, thank you. So as again, if you think of everyone's washed their hands for the last 18 months, everyone's worn masks for 18 months. They haven't been doing it since like end of August, middle of August. So what's been out and around there is just mixed, and it's just gone. You know what? Everyone out there can have a little bit of a wallop of the normal things. And I always say you've got to have your bugs and your germs, you know. So that's just my view and my perspective, that, you know, we get through it, and we get on there and we get out and about. Where's everybody heading off to? You did put a few things up before. So I will be up in Huddersfield tomorrow, and Saturday night I'll be a little invest in Leeds. Yeah, so that's what that was about. It's just I could just cough, really, to be honest with you, Nick. I'm just trying to be polite as well. So where's the strangest place that you've been? Where's the strangest atmosphere that you've come across as well? What's I always get people that inbox me as well that go, what was that 20 minutes about last night? Or I didn't understand that part, or I didn't quite get this. What was that energy and spirit about? Because sometimes a lot of spirit energies can play games and bombard you and give you certain things where there's more to it. So you have to go back to these places, and it's nice to go back to these places. And this is what it's about sometimes, where you could have a flippant spirit, but the next time you go, they could be in a different frame of mind to communicate with you. So again, it's like working with it and going forward. It's all about moving forward and developing how you're communicating and all that as well. So yeah, we are in Leeds. Where are we? I'll have to look here. Abbey End, Leeds. That's where we are tomorrow. That's in Newley. So I look forward to going there as well. No, sorry, that's Saturday night. Get mixed up. There's so many things get taken out of the diary and put back in, with everything being up and running again as well. So there's a lot of changes to what's been in and around the diary as well. So let's see where we're going. Any questions? You're a humbug, are you, Georgia? Things that sisters come out with often scare you. I always say to people as well, Georgia, is there's no right or wrong ways with mediumship. So if your sister comes out and says certain things and you can't relate to it, that might tie in 2 months' time. That might tie in a conversation in 12 months' time. That might tie into somebody you meet in 5 years' time. And then all of a sudden you go, somebody told me about that years ago or months ago. And it ties in. When spirits come forward and work with somebody that's open to receive, you just give it, because you don't know at what point it ties in. It doesn't mean it's with you and that person. And I was trying to explain sometimes, if you've got a message from a spirit, and say they say the name's is James, and no one can take the name of James that you're talking to in front of you, it doesn't mean it's not the middle name or anything like that. They might have 4 or 5 middle names. And then all of a sudden it'll come about in a photograph. Somebody will say, oh, here's John James Smith. And you're like, all right, okay. So again, it's all about working with it and not just dismissing it straight away. Don't dismiss it straight away. Ask questions about it. And there's a lot of people out there, which I enjoy, where people try and get to the bottom of the in-depth of what was this, what was that, and pushing. That's great. But just, I always say, pad and pen are your friends. You know what I mean? I mean, I've just got pad after pad after pad around. You know, I must have 6 pads down there, because it's all about making the notes and going, do you know what? That ties in with what we had 3 weeks ago. You could be going to a city that somebody's visited. You could go to Chester, but somebody's visited from York. It could be a person from York that's visited Chester. And I could be walking around Chester, but they're telling me all about York. So again, it's not direct. I always say, you've got to be a detective as well. But when you're given stuff, it's all about logging, clocking, noting, and putting these pieces together. So you've got to put the pieces together as well sometimes. Do I feel spirits when I'm doing this open mic? Well, let's put it this way. I sat down in this room tonight, and I've got an outside light on there, which obviously it came on, and I virtually thought, oh, there's somebody just sat right opposite me there, just sat watching me, looking back through my French windows. And I was like, right, okay. Yes, sometimes we do. What I usually do is, let's see which way we're going. That way, when I work spiritually in this room, this is me Reiki room, this is me reading room, I ask spirits to wait outside in the hallway and then come into the room one by one. And you can't see it, but on the French window side of it, when I'm doing Reiki, I ask spirits to come in through that way. So when I'm doing readings, I ask them to stand in the doorway in the hall. When I'm doing Reiki, I ask them to come in through the window section there and queue up outside and come in as and when. So it's all different techniques on how different people work. And when I'm developing and I'm trying to explain to some people when they're working spiritually, if you feel hot or cold to one side of the other, hot on this side, cold on that side, ask for males to stand to your left, ask males to stand to your right. And then when you're working out, when they know how you work, they'll start queuing up. The females will start queuing up to the left-hand side, just slightly behind you. Your males might start lining up there. And sometimes you can say to the children, just come forward as and when you want. So again, it's all different techniques and all that. And again, it's understanding of, I always say to people, you've got to be in control. So when you're in control and your office is closed, you're not working. So you switch off, Monday to Friday in the day, switched off. Obviously, unless I'm on holiday, I don't work them spiritual times. Every other time I'm open to receive. So again, I could just come home, go for a shower. I'm hearing somebody at the back door waiting to talk and communicate with me. I'll say, right, I'll be with you in 20 minutes. Sunday afternoon, I like to cross over. If spirits are waiting to go to the light as well, I'll just ask them to wait in the garden. So again, it's all about having that control as well. Hanging and slavery, Georgia, definitely is what we've got written down. With the, just going to go back on the notes there, with the executioner as well. I put hanging down as well. Assaulted. There's definitely a coffin there as well. A coffin. Yeah, different religions as well was coming through, but there was the executioner again. And the masked person as well. And then, as you said, the hanging and slavery. That will tie in with a lot of the slaughter yard I was seeing as well. I see a lot of bloodbath. Again, quite a few dates, 1792, 1885 to 1880s. And again, as soon as I walked in, that's me top of my note, bloodbath. Could see it straight away. As soon as I walked in, it was just like, and I've been there 5 or 6 times. And then again there, Sweeney Todd-like character. So it was just like, no messing around, just straight off. And sometimes you've got to ask them to step back as well when they're giving you certain information, because you do want the physical sensation of that. And I always try and say, when you watch Braveheart and you see his lady friend put on the stake on there and the gentleman just cuts her throat, I just virtually can't breathe when I'm watching that. It's just like you can get too much of the emotions and the mannerisms as well. So sometimes you've got to ask spirit to say, I know where you're coming from. I know what you're going to do. Don't do that. Don't give me that. Just communicate with me. So sometimes I always say to people, past in a car crash or past in an accident, it's like, go back prior to the ailments. Go back before. Don't give me that too much pain. Feel like you're embedded or you've been impaled with metal. You do get that their last feelings as well sometimes. So again, I always call that of being bombarded. So you can be bombarded when you're open to receive, but when you're least expecting it. So I could be talking to a member of the public on a platform night and talking about their auntie or their uncle, and then this energy will just shoot in and go, oh, by the way, here I am, Garry. And you're like, right, okay. So that's when you get bombarded, and that's where you've got to have control with your team going, you don't step forward too quick. He's still working with this link and the connection. So again, it's about the balance. And yeah, it will happen where they do jump in, but I will just go, stand back, wait 5 minutes, stand back, wait 10 minutes. I will work with you when I'm ready. And the understanding, it works both ways. You know, it's just like, if you're on a conference call, you can't take 5 phone calls at the same time. You've got to have that communication, balance and respect as well with spirit. As a twin, now twins. I'll tell you a little story about a twin scenario in a second, but I'll come in onto that. Twins doesn't understand the gift. Of course, it says it's hard for me to accept it all. One of the hardest things I've had to help and support with a living person, and they were a twin. Their twin didn't live on this plane. Their twin never made it through. And the guilt and the remorse within the soul of the person that's lived, you can feel their anguish, you can feel the frustrations, you can feel the link. They still communicate with that twin that's not lived on this plane, they don't know what it's about. They don't class themselves as a medium, but they feel the suppression sometimes, that the guilt, because they've lived that energy and entity of the spirit twin that hasn't lived, made them suffer for a long, long time. So spiritually, I had to work with the twin that hadn't worked and call it forward and explain the situation, that if it was the other way round, would you expect the person the other way round to be doing this to you? So sometimes I always say it's like calling somebody into your office, explaining the situation. But because that spirit energy entity's not lived on this plane, that soul's gone on and lived elsewhere. But sometimes you've got to put them right a little bit and just saying, you know, you need to play the game. This person's only got this life on this plane. They need to live their life. Don't make it suppressive. Don't make it too heavy for them, because of you're trying to make them feel guilty because you haven't lived as well. But the link and the bond and the connection with the twin, it's so amazing. My dad's a twin. My dad would tell me stuff that his twin sister was going to do prior to it happening. My dad's not a medium, but in and around his twin, the link and the connection, he knew that this was going to happen a week ahead, 2 weeks ahead. It was just the bond and the connection with the link of the twin. Everything else he's not picked up on. But again, that twin connection is massive. So I'd expect the twin line has not had my bloodline, but I would expect a twin bloodline to come through with the children. So that'll be interesting to see if that comes around and about as well. But twins is just... actually went out with an identical twin, and that was when I was about 18 or 19, and that was too bizarre. I just like, no, sorry. Again, but great people, but there's just something about a twin. It's just like just amazing connections, how it works as well. So in different scenarios, there's different scenarios around twins, obviously. Do you visually see within the mind in a lot of ways? The mind's eye, my team are telling me, my team are talking to me what's going on, my guide, the spiritual animals will protect in certain scenarios and situation. As I'm talking, I'm working with my guide. When I do development classes, I try and show him and bring him through so people can see the size of my guide and how high he is. He's about 8 foot tall in stature. Visually, I see cine film. Visually, I see through the mind's eye. When spirits are coming in to connect and trying to bombard you from behind, that's where you put your guards up a little bit, where it's going, whoa, what's going on? You can feel your aura change from about 20, 30, 40 feet. When you've got a balanced and cleansed mind, I can't remember last time I had time to meditate. It just goes that quick when you're working spiritually. I've been that busy since August and September and now into October. I can't remember last time I had a chance to meditate, but I will wind down of an evening, go to bed for an hour before I want to go to sleep. And that's my unwinding time. So when I'm doing that, I'm getting back in the zone. So I've got I used to a way of, if I've been out doing readings, I don't have to shut down. My team do it for me. So it's just like closing the mind's eye. And when I want to work, it's like opening the petal from the spiritual corridors. Again, it's all about the control. It's not lazy mediumship. It's just you get used to tweaking it in different ways. And I always say to people, it's like if you worked on a production line 12-hour nights, you wouldn't physically work spiritually solid through them tough times, because when you get to 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, that's when you have your dip and your lull. So what I'm saying is about reserving your energy. When you're working of an evening, you're conserving your energy, so you don't give it all out all at once as well. A cup of tea, a 10-minute chat, a 10-minute different conversation is when I start recharging. So when I'm not working, I could just be talking about football, but I'm recharging. So again, the team know to bring back the energies and boosting my battery pack up. And again, that's what you get used to. And I always say, sometimes you're catching yourself coming forward sometimes as well. But that's what you do. We all work in different ways. Thanks for answering your question. Really interesting, a little better understanding. And that's what it's about. I'll always try and help everyone. I'll always go the extra mile, because I was in that position 12 years ago. When we first started linking with spirits, I was 5, but the understanding was really 12 years ago, when everything made sense. Everything just tied in, the link, the penny clicked, and everything just went, right, this is what it's all about. So when you get to that scenario and situation, it's like you see the bigger picture. So we've all had visions of not nice things in the past. We've all had the gut intuitions about disasters. We've all had the gut intuitions about things that's going on in the world prior to them happening. Again, what I do with my team, I ask my team not to give me stuff more than 2 weeks ahead. So I try and close it down. So if I was going to give the day a past, I don't need to know it. It's just reel back on information. There's certain information you don't need. So when you know, my team can tell me so much, but I ask them to work with me on, like, if a spirit, I'm going to a castle in 2 weeks' time, I don't mind the spirits coming forward 2 weeks earlier, but I don't want to see that spirit 2 years ahead, because I always say it's like the ghost film. I've got a song that'll get on your nerves. I don't mean that disrespectfully with spirit. What I'm saying is, it's like having somebody on your shoulder talking to you 2 years before you go and meet them. It's a long time. It's a long period as well. So there's a lot to have on your plate as a medium spiritually. And again, it's the understanding of how you work. And again, sometimes you've got to ask your team to go and pull somebody up to say, no, come back and work this way, or come back and work with us that way. And when you get the aggressive, or you get the poor attitude, it's like, not today, mate. Come back when you're a little bit more compass mentis with us, and we've got that bit more of understanding, and that's how I work. So don't forget to join me Wednesday, chat with medium Tess, and look forward to that as well, from the USA. Amazing days, made in lazy, amazing medium as well. And again, we will try and get some more interviews up and running. And again, it's just been that busy period of time of year as well. So where's everyone going for Halloween? I know everyone talks about Halloween. I usually tend not to watch the telly that weekend. I'm always usually out and about anyway, but I always tend to try and get out and about. But I don't like the overhype of it. I think it's too overhyped at that period. When we're working with it all year in, weekend out, it's just like, oh God, it seems to be too much on top of each other, all on the same time as well. So again, I don't mind watching something about Halloween in February, or a catch up, or a recorded program as well. So again, sometimes I try not to watch too much telly. Sue Bailey, throughout my life, who's been aware of spirits, 6 years old, granddaughter who came out with profound things at the time. Blow the candle out. It is loving things, and I mentioned something on a reading last night, and I think I touched on it a little bit earlier on, where a spirit just gave me a bullet point and said, you know, I left £500 in the will for you as a cousin, or a sister-in-law or whatever. I left £500 in the will. The lady was just like, oh my God, I know who that is specifically, because it tied in. But when you get that evidence that you're tying in and linking in with the connection of, you try, as a man, try and describe a lady's haircut, or a hairstyle, or what it's called, or she's wearing certain fingernails, or she, you know, it does take a lot of getting used to explaining things from a male side of it, on a perspective of what the female's actually wearing, or what it's called. You know what I mean? When you see a spirit going back 300 or 400 years, and they've got the scrolled up collar, or you see it's somebody from Tudor that's got that on as well. And you try to remember the names of what they're called or what that attire was back in the day. You know, sometimes you can't just pinpoint what it is, but you might just sketch it down and go, yeah, it looks a little bit like that, because you can't pinpoint the name. And I am terrible for remembering certain things as well, especially names, but trying to remember, there's just so much going on. I always try and say, sometimes the medium's mind's like spaghetti junction. So when you go down into Birmingham and it's getting busier and busier in the city, you've just got to step away from it sometimes and filter it out a little bit. So it's all about the control of filtering it out. But when things tie in with your evidence, I do work directly doing readings, but when I do my cards, it's just because I need to slow down and work a little bit of a slower pace when I use the cards. Again, platform work, when you're working on platform, it comes through directly like that. And it's amazing working directly. Some mediums go, I'm working with that gentleman over there in the audience. Some mediums might say, I've got somebody on the right-hand side for a family member I'm worked with and I need to connect with. So some mediums don't connect and link directly to the person, and they might work in a certain area to the left-hand side of them, the right-hand side of them. Just had something go past me there then on this side. Just shot past there then. Right, any more questions? Again, thanks for your input. Again, we never stop learning. I arose. Again, where's everybody off to? I'll try and do something Monday night as well. I'll just try and get back up and running. Again, I've got to run with my diary as well. So busy, unbelievable. Come and join us the 27th of November. Excuse me, the Village Mansfield. If no one's been there, if you want an interesting evening and different layers of overlapping energies, that's the place to go to as well. And hopefully our lovely Lee Roberts is there and we'll catch up with him. We always have a good natter, and had some really good, interesting nights there as well. And I always find the village as well, when you go to the village, when you go outside and you get there an hour or two before the event, it's just taking the atmosphere in around the town. Always have a little walk around the town before you go on and invest. So even if you're pulling up somewhere and it's remote, stop 10 minutes before and feel the lie of the land. Like when I was with Linda last week, you get into certain areas and you can say, do you feel the energy change? You do feel the energy change of going through towns and cities, especially when you're going towards water. You might not see the river or whatever, but you know there's water close by. You can feel the energy and the pull and the magnetic side of things. It's just amazing how it all works and connects in as different energies throw off different things, you know what I mean? Ley lines and everything else. It is quite bizarre. So any more questions? Been on an hour and 10 minutes. I don't know where that time's gone. A few gremlins on the start of it. I can't speak for that. I can't understand why that's gone on as well. So the bond is enigma. It certainly is, Georgia. And again, where obviously when I'm around certain mediums and we link and connect amazingly, it's like I will answer their questions before they've asked it. And I was just going to say that. And likewise, I'll think of something and then they'll answer my question without me asking it. That's the link, the connection of the bond of working around like-minded mediums. And I always say the power of three, when you've got three mediums together, it's just, it is mind-blowing. Even if you've got three mediums in the same building, or you've got a couple of mediums in the same building, you could have one on the level down below, and I'll give information in that room. The other medium will come in, and they could give information within 2, 3, 4 or 5 years of the same decade, the same century. It's mind-blowing. It is mind-blowing. You know what I mean? It's you know, to be 2 or 3 years out, given a date when you walk in a room, that's the atmosphere of that energy and entity that's in that building at that time. You know, so it is amazing. Yeah, we've had some good nights at the village. Really interesting and enlightening. Again, that's what I'll try and do. I'll try and help anybody. Anyone's got any questions, inbox me. Don't be afraid to inbox me. That's what it's all about. do a show with Power of Three. The most interesting thing I've had with the Power of Three, and there was another medium, and they had a tear in their aura. And when I mean a tear, it was a spiritual tear with a low-level energy entity trying to affect a very good friend of mine's mindset and mind thoughts. And the other medium knew that there wasn't something right, so we had to repair an aura. And to the person that had their aura repaired, it's quite traumatic. It's like being crushed by a magnetic machine. It's like, the big impact machine. It can be very strong and very overpowering when you're trying to do good. That person might not understand what's going on at the time, but you're trying to repel an attachment or a tear in somebody's chink of their armor, of their aura, that they might not sense. So again, when you're working with the Power of Three, it is amazing. Again, watch Charmed. I know it sounds bizarre, but when they get that book out and they're all in the attic, it's just like the strength and the power, the energy is there. Again, we all look after each other. We all help each other. Someone might come up to me one day and go, "Oh, just relax, sit there. I've got to do something." I'm like, "Yeah, go ahead." Certain things I might not see, certain things I might miss out on, but they might explain certain things to me. Watch out for this, watch out for that. You need to do this, you need to do that. Other mediums will look after you. So again, we never stop learning, and that's what it's about. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for tuning in. Please keep tuning in. Keep watching what we've got on as well, and hope to see you soon as well. So look out for me live on Garry Field's Facebook page, on the TV page there, and I'll do a few lives and we'll share it and that, and come and interact. If you want to come on the on the live tomorrow night, feel free as well. Saturday, 6th of November, come along, get yourselves down there and meet the lovely Sarah May as well. So again, I'm going to say good night. And do you know what? I've met so many amazing people in and around this field. I just take my hat off to everyone that's been part of it, and I do feel very proud to be doing what I'm doing. So stay safe. Catch up with you soon, folks. Excuse me. Anyone needs any information, any questions, fire away. Look out for the live tomorrow night, and we'll see where we go. See how we get on as well. So loads of love and white light here as well. Stay strong, stay safe. Night, folks.